everyone, Helen Yu here at Microsoft AI Tour in Atlanta. I'm joined by Chris Tignor, who is the Chief Security Advisor for Media Entertainment at Microsoft. Hello, Chris. It's so nice to see you here.
Hey, thanks, Helen, for having me.
We're going to talk about what it takes to lead in a VI-driven world, starting with security as a core. But before we do that, Chris, why don't you introduce yourself and your role at Microsoft?
Yeah, thanks, Helen. I'm Chris Tignor, as you said, a Chief Security Advisor. We're a team of former Chief Information Security Officers that work with the lowest high our account teams just to support our customer executives, our CISOs or CIOs or CFOs, CTOs, and so forth, to help them learn from the mistakes we've made, to help them learn how do we adopt these new security abilities, this new AI, and can really just better their security programs overall. I was the CISO for almost 20 years prior to that in Microsoft for a couple of years. So good to be with you.
Yeah, likewise. The Frontier framework Microsoft presented during the keynote today really resonated with me. The employee focus, customer focus, reshaping the business process, as well as bending the curve for innovation. But despite of all those focus, many organizations don't feel prepared to transform with AI securely.
Right.
So what should they do? And what's your advice helping them, if they adopt AI, to security first approach?
Yeah, my approach for adopting almost anything, whether it be personal or professional, is 80% of the work is in the planning and 20% is in the execution. And I think in the space of becoming a frontier firm, security really needs to be at the core, not to be some bolt-on roadblock or speed bump, but really as an enabler. And I think in order to do that, I always use a 3-step process. And it's really looking at how do I deliver you something, how do I manage it, and then how do I secure it. And in this space of AI, I think it's really governance is, think about it from the people and process perspective. Who are the business areas that are most interested in the success and the failure of AI? And that's probably who should be governing. So it's probably from a, success. That's the main business unit leader driving. Who's most worried about it failing? Oh, okay. I got to pay for this. So there's the CFO. Oh, there's the legal risk. Okay. Where's the general counsel? Get the players there that will cover these rooms. What do we want AI to do? Do we want it as a shiny, flashy toy? Probably not. I want it to enable X, Y, and Z, these business outcomes. Then when you get to the managing part, really knowing what's AI do to the company? Both the stuff being governance section, as well as, hey, what's the billing out running on her phone that she's over now putting out data and sending it out to? How do I actually manage there? And then the security portion of it is really looking at how do I keep track of all of these AI agents that are out there, both authorized, unauthorized, professional, personal. And I think that's where you get started, is that 2-step model. Govern, managers.
I know that govern, manage, secure, right? That step model is so critical.
Yeah.
I came across Microsoft ebook for CFOs recently,
Yes.
and I learned that most CFOs believe that their security posture is strong, which is far away from the reality.
Right.
And so what would you advise to the CFOs for what should they take into consideration when it comes to their very secure?
Right. Well, as a former CISO, I'm really close with a number of CFOs. And I think many times CFOs are looking at things from regulatory, compliance perspective, whether they could report to the SEC or Sarbanes-Oxley, but they're looking at lagging indicators. They're looking at compliance-driven metrics. Well, I'm really secure from the standpoint of I did my quarterly access radios. Only the people who should have access do you have access. Everyone that won the lottery and left the company, their access has been removed. Instead of looking at that, I think they need to look more at, okay, what are my current risks that I have with the people, the process, the technology? What's my risk of a breach with an unsanctioned AI tool? And then work with their CISOs to figure out what are my first rules that I have in the space. One of the simplest things I often tell a CFO, don't look at the quarterly metrics that are coming from the CISO. They will always look good. Ask about, hey, what's my control for this? And use AI. Go and look at what are the most recent security things that have happened in the last 6 weeks. Ask your CISO or ask for our hey, what are my controls? And we've had it cluster this, and I think that's where they can really play. I think it's a really key learning opportunity for a CISO and CFO. For most CISOs, not all. So from a very whole background, most CFOs come from a very structured. Absolutely, and I think that's where they can really go together, because the CFO can help provide that governance umbrella, while the CISO can say, okay, this is where we want to put a stop to things and build those controls. This is where the CFO and the governance team want to allow more flexibility, and so the CISO can help figure out how do I loosen the strings there of it and do with security.
Cybersecurity now becomes a management. Tell us a little more about what a healthy agency as well as CISO look like to you. How do you manage that when you are a CISO?
As I'm now mentoring the next generation of CISOs, I often advise them, do not, like your only opportunities where you meet the CFO is during a breach when you're trying to fill out, to meet that 4-day breach notification requirement at the Security and Exchange Commission. You're doing that, or you're sitting in the same audit committee meeting with the board talking about security controls, and the CFO, that's the first time she or he is thinking about these things. That's insane. I highly encourage having regular one-on-ones just of what's important to you. How can I help? The other thing where I think they play pivotal roles, I think you can really see this at a lot of companies that have been incidents today. The CFO and the CISO jointly together to have periodic tabletop exercises. Let's go through. And I think at first you'll be utterly shocked, and both of them will probably walk out of the room being, why on earth do I have to work with Garrett? Because you walk it through, here's the decision we would make if this breach happened. And no matter what one says, the other will likely disagree. Initially, that's why it's regular to step through and have that relationship. I think the thing that I came in to becoming a CISO sort of by accident, coming in from the tech side of it more as a finance background. So to me, it was all about how do I learn to speak the same language as I to avoid self-dosing. And sometimes you could have two languages that are more different than the CISO and the CMO. And I think it's getting on a common language. And it's not the CISO becoming the financial expert. It's not the CMO becoming the cybersecurity expert. It's what's the common language we want to use and empower company. So, one example I often use is, go to something as basic but as important as a risk register. Figure out, how am I going to track these? The CISO is probably going to want to list out every every tool we got. No one else in the business will list it first.
Well, this is switching gears, industry-specific topic here. Media, entertainment is very deep world. As with perhaps in IP, it's a passionate fun days, as well as very accelerating creator cycles.
Yes.
And what are you most excited about the innovation in this space, your biting space?
To me, the most exciting thing with AI is, how do we actually take the power of AI and have it harnessed by the creative talent, not to replace them, not to create deep fakes, not that. Really, how do we take and augment those individuals to be able to use the power of AI to do things faster, to protecting from AI generated attacks. As quickly as we could generate good AI, the other folks on the other side of the fence to generate attacks against us can generate deep fakes and try to break into our network and steal theirs. In media and entertainment, everything from terabytes and petabytes of raw film footage to reams and reams of movie scripts, ideas for new TV series. So things that need to be protected, but also you don't want to say, oh, okay, Miss Creative, I need you to go into this room here that's locked down and work on this isolated PC on this.
What is a frontier firm looks to you 3 to 5 years from now from security perspective?
I think that the firm that really jumps in and wants to be that frontier firm and they sort of go through those steps of govern, manage, secure, I think they will realize, wow, the key to so much is data. In AI, it learns on data. There's data we wanted to learn on, and there's data we don't. So I think that the frontier firm will really be data centric. And we'll know what its data is, worry about having classified, and we'll know what the most important data is, and we'll know what it doesn't. But I think the other key piece is in this age of agentic AI, realistically, everyone is going to be a manager in the future, whether they're managing people, maybe not, but agents, for certain, you will have agents that are helping you as your chief of staff, as your email director, as your and so forth. So I think the identity and access portion, it won't just be for people or batches or systems, it'll be for agents. And I think that frontier firm, you have a firm grasp on, what's my data, who's got access to it, and what's the identity.
Thank you so much, Chris. I look forward to catching up. Yeah.
Same here, great being with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.